You guys were here in the very beginning when my hair was like an inch long, all the way to where my hair is today. But like all good things, they must come to an end. Alright guys, I never thought that I'd be saying this, but it's time to cut your hair. Relax. I'm only talking about cutting about an inch or so off. Wait, hold on. What did you think I was gonna say? Stop being weird. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're like, Kozak, how could you betray us like this? You preach healthy hair growth, and now all of a sudden you're telling me to cut my hair? Are you crazy? Believe it or not, regularly cutting your hair is actually extremely healthy for healthy hair growth. And it can have all sorts of benefits to your actual hair. In this video, I'm going to be telling you exactly what those benefits are and helping you to identify when it's time to chop or trim your hair. Before we get started, I have a quick message from my sponsor. This video is sponsored by Aura. Have you ever gotten those annoying scam likely calls? You know exactly what I'm talking about. Those calls that literally say scam likely. Or those super annoying spam emails that even when you unsubscribe, you seem to never ever truly be able to unsubscribe to. Then more than likely that means that your information has been compromised. Well, this is where Aura comes into play. Aura helps you to keep all of your online information safe by identifying data thieves that are exposing and selling your information. Aura actually submits opt-out requests on your behalf automatically for you. Aura scans the entire interweb, including the dark web, removing all your data from all these different places to protect you. You'll be shocked on all of the stuff that it finds on you just floating around cyberspace for people to take advantage of. It's an all-in-one online security system that's jammed packed with features. So let Aura do all the hard work of keeping your online information safe. Click the link in my description and try Aura completely free today. Let's talk benefits. Trimming your hair actually helps you to retain hair length and keeps your hair healthy by preventing damage. Getting regular hair trims can stop damage and dead ends dead in their tracks. Did you get it? Because I said dead ends. And I'll stop, I promise. There's 3 main forms of hair damage that you have to keep an eye out for, because they can straight up ruin your hair growth journey and extremely slow or stunt your hair's actual growth dramatically. And these are going to be the big 3: dead ends, split ends, and single strand knots. Now, of course, there's plenty of other ways that hair can get damaged, but these 3 are going to be 3 of the most common and 3 of the most annoying. Let's talk about split ends. Split ends is when hair splits at the very end of the hair. Split ends, the end of your hair. You guys aren't funny. Split ends occur when your hair splits at the very end of a hair follicle, splitting into 2 or 3 different parts. So at the very end of your hair, it basically splits in half. It's gonna look something like this. So if the end of your hair is dry, brittle, and frayed, more than likely you probably got split ends. There's plenty of different things that can cause split ends, like exposing your hair to extreme weather conditions. So blow drying your hair, flat ironing your hair, adding too much heat to your hair, not properly caring for your hair, or just being too rough when it comes to manipulating your hair, even brushing your hair or detangling your hair incorrectly, etc., etc. The list goes on. So there's a number of reasons why split ends might happen, but what makes split ends so bad is if you leave it unaddressed, split ends can actually continue to split further down the hair follicle, which does further damage, which reduces your actual hair growth. So that causes even more damage and less hair length retention. Split ends are very noticeable when you have a lot of them, and a bit harder to notice when you don't. And they can be seen as pieces of your hair that don't really curl up at all and just stay completely straight. Unfortunately, the only true way to get rid of split ends is to cut your hair. Trimming split ends before they can continue to split and cause further damage is going to be extremely important. So when it comes to healthy hair growth and it comes to split ends, make sure you're keeping an eye out for them. Another thing that you're going to need to be sure to look out for is dead ends. These are a bit different than split ends. While split ends are still very much alive, dead ends are literally dead. Literally. I'll stop. When combing, brushing, or detangling your hair, if you realize that your hair just breaks off, little strands or little pieces of hair just come out very easily, then more than likely you probably have dead ends. While it is entirely possible to have both, so dead ends and split ends, understanding the difference between dead ends and split ends is going to be extremely important so that you can understand how to move forward and properly care for your hair. Dead ends are small pieces of hair that break off very easily when combing, brushing, or manipulating your hair at all. Now lastly, we're going to talk about single strand knots. Single strand knots is another very important way that your hair can get damaged. We're going to also want to be able to identify this as well. Single strand knots is most common with people with naturally curly hair textures and is also known as fairy knots. A single strand knot is when a follicle of hair curls back onto itself and creates a small knot, which then causes hair to become very easily tangled. Single strand knots are extremely annoying. I can speak from experience. I get plenty of them. They're gonna look something like this. I'd see if I could find one in my own hair, but my hair is in twist right now. But you wanna make sure to keep an eye out for single strand knots as well. Alright, let me help you to identify if you actually have single strand knots, dead ends, or split ends. And I'm going to be telling you the solution to get rid of them. So first, let's start off with dead ends. Dead ends have a very rough, dry texture, while split ends still feel like completely healthy hair. To identify if you have dead ends, you could wear a white shirt, try to brush, comb, or detangle your hair, and see if very small pieces of hair come off onto your shirt. You can also ask yourself questions like, do small areas of my hair break off when I brush, comb, or pick my hair? Does my hair feel rough to the touch? Is it like almost impossible for me to actually brush my hair or pick my hair? If that's the case, then I'm sorry to tell you, more than likely you probably got dead ends. Now, identifying split ends. You can identify split ends by actually looking and observing your hair. Split ends look to be frayed and look split coming off the ends of your hair. And they typically occur at the very end, the very tip of your hair. You can ask yourself questions like, is my hair easy to brush? Are my ends frayed but still soft to the touch? Do the ends of my hair usually take a very long time to dry? If that's the case, then more than likely you probably got split ends. And lastly, single strand knots. This one is fairly easy to spot. You can identify single strand knots by individually taking follicles of your hair, pulling it down and gliding your finger down your hair until you come to a tiny solid bump along the strand of your hair. It's like a very small, tiny little knot or a small, bumpy, uneven surface. You sometimes can even pull your hair and actually see the knot yourself. So you definitely just need to observe your hair and you can identify whether you have single strand knots or not. Now that we understand what split ends, dead ends, and single strand knots are, we now also understand how to identify them. Let's talk about getting rid of them and preventing them. There's a few different ways to strengthen your hair and help to prevent all three of these damages, and that is to trim your hair. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, but that's the truth of the matter. You're actually gonna have to trim your hair. It's the only real way to stop it in its tracks and prevent it in the future. So you want to make sure that you're getting your hair regularly trimmed. I recommend trimming your hair every 2 to 4 months if you can identify split ends, dead ends, or even single strand knots. If you still, after watching this video, cannot identify whether you have any of these, then either more than likely you don't at all. I highly recommend going to a licensed professional and asking them if they can identify any of these three in your actual hair and if you need a hair trim or not. Also, if you are going to be getting your hair trimmed, I highly recommend also going to a licensed professional. If you're new to my channel, be sure to go ahead and subscribe and turn on post notifications. I make videos every single week. So if you enjoyed this video, I'm sure you're gonna enjoy the video next week. So go ahead and subscribe with the bell icon so that you do not miss out on this amazing hair content that I'm making for you guys. And if you enjoyed the video, be sure to go ahead and leave this video a like. Drop a comment down below if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. And be sure to send this video to somebody who you think might have some sort of hair damage or is struggling with their hair. But yeah, that's all the time that I have for you guys today. I'm Kozak, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. Peace out.